What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Phaithful Phanatics show. As always, we are live here on DSM-Media's Philadelphia YouTube and Twitter channels. Guys, do yourself a favor, do us a favor. Make sure to check us out on Twitter first at DSM_media is where you can find us. Hit that follow button. The link tree in our bio will take you to every other social media platform we are on, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that good stuff. But if you guys want to be interactive throughout today's live stream or any of our live streams here, make sure to check out the YouTube link specifically. Hit that subscribe button, like the video, share it with your friends, family, any other Philly sports fans that you may know that could enjoy the content. I'm one half of your host, Dylan Davis. To my right, my faithful co-host, Scotty. We lost time yesterday, Scotty. We didn't get through all of our topics, and we have two very big, very important 76ers topics to get to today. ESPN released an article about Joel Embiid, very in-depth, very detailed, very drawn out. People have had mixed emotions about it, mostly extremely positive. The human side of Joel Embiid, we got a sneak peek, we got an inside scoop of it, and most people are happy about that and have taken a step back from the criticization of Joel Embiid. Other people think it's kind of a soft piece, right? It's a softball. The guy was let in. He, was just helping Joel Embiid out of whatever this criticism has been of late, but also it's not all positive. Paul George had arthroscopic knee surgery to clean some things up. Is it a major concern? Is it a minor procedure? We're going to talk about that. More Jalen Hurts talk, possibly more Phillies talk as they come out of the break tonight. But what's going on, my man? Happy Friday.
Yeah, man. Happy Friday. Happy to be here. Obviously, the Friday before I go on vacation, so I'm ready to just get this work out of the way and hit the road. But no, I'm excited to be here talking with you about this. This is something that was huge in the Philly area when it dropped. What was that, Wednesday or Tuesday that article was dropped? I think it was the day after the All-Star game for MLB. The day after. Yeah. So that was Wednesday, right? Because Home Run Derby was Monday. Yeah. Okay. So Wednesday, the article comes out. And I think we've had enough time now. Like, we've let it marinate with the fan base, with the media coverage in the area. And we're getting some takes from all over the place. So some of them caught me off guard. But as I start to think through them, I mean, I think some of the more hostile takes are a little ridiculous for sure. But agreed. I think there is I guess we can just talk about it. I think there is room for Joel to be a little more accountable with the way it was written and how it came out. I don't think that at the same time, I don't think that was written on purpose to like deflect accountability from Joel. Sure, yeah. I think that is maybe just who Joel is. I think we got a great insight into that. And at the end of the day, man, this is where I'll start it and I'll throw it back to you. The biggest thing for me is just relatability. And I know that's the more sentimental side of things. It's not like the basketball or the critical, thinking that it takes to win a championship side of things. It's not about that. It's about persevering through life, going through life traumas and devastating things take place in your life. And you have to bounce back from them some way or another. You have to move on. You have to persevere. You have to go to work the next day. And that's the part that I related to in the article. That's the part that I admired and took away from it. Now I get to this stage where I see other people's analysis of the article. I do understand other perspectives, but I just didn't take it with that hostility or that negativity. I just don't think it was a negative article. I've even seen it spun into, this is Joel saying bye to Philadelphia. I've seen it spun into that narrative as well. And I didn't pick up on that either. I picked up on, he's stuck with this team so long. He is so invested, even through all the bullshit that has happened around him. And he's still here. That's the way I took it. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts as well, my man.
No, I agree. I think that was most people's takeaway, was the human side of it. And that gets lost all the time in sports. You and I have a clip video on YouTube right around the time of the Trey Turner standing ovation. Now, obviously, that's a completely different circumstance. That was Trey being in his head due to his lack of performance at his job, right? Not living up to the contract. But it's the human side of things, right? And people respond and react differently and in different ways to different things. And that's the side of Joel Embiid you got to see, right? And you got to hear a lot more about it, too, because we as fans are obviously always going to be closed off from him. We are never going to know what goes on in Joel Embiid's personal life for the most part, right? Outside of what's reported in the media. But you got an even deeper scoop into hearing how limited and thin his circle is. Even the closest people to him are limited in what he tells them and how and the things he reveals to them. His teammates, how often he answers or texts, and he has his assistant or his wife, answering or responding for him, or will let him know if it's important to get to. That's how closed off the dude is from, I guess, all the things he's been through, right? Obviously dating back to the death of his brother. And then you had the Marcus Hayes thing come about this past year with definitely not arguably the worst year of his career injury wise, because obviously he's missed full years before to start his career, but with the expectations and the money and the Paul George acquisition and all that stuff, this was the most disappointing year. You throw the Marcus Hayes thing into it, and it just built up to a point where you just have to open up, man. So that I agree with. Like, from the human side of things, I thought it was awesome. I can not agree with it, but like you said,
relate to
it. I don't know why the word relate was just skipping my mind there, but I can relate to it for sure. I can also see what people were talking about. That other stuff's crazy to me, like the hostility part of it all. I just think that if I had one critique of the article in itself, I wouldn't necessarily call it a fluff piece. I don't think that's the reason it was done. Like, I don't think it was done on purpose. This guy got the inside scoop because it's the only person Joel would talk to. So here's just a softball article to build me up. But it was very, very drawn out.
Yeah,
like,
that's fair.
There were like 8 paragraphs before you even got to any meat and bones of the whole situation, of the whole point.
Yeah.
So that's the only criticism I would give to it that makes it seem a little fluffy to me. But the thing that I'll throw this back to you now, like, I think the point of it, though, the way I don't relate to it as a fan is that's never been my problem with Joel Embiid. I've never thought Joel Embiid was soft. I've never criticized Joel Embiid for being soft.
Yeah.
I've never questioned his competitiveness, his want to, his will to win, his work ethic. I've never talked about that. And I don't think you really have either. I know there are people out there that have. There are thousands of people.
And I think those are the same people that feel that way now, too, with this piece, right? Like, that was their takeaway. Like, I think those are the same people.
I've never thought of him as soft. The criticism, and it's not even a criticism I have of Joel Embiid anymore. I want Joel Embiid to come back and play in a Sixers uniform. I want this team to be fully healthy. I want this dude and this team to win a championship and or at least get to a championship so freaking badly, right?
Yeah.
I'm just at the point where, like, I'm 50-50, like, over it. Like, I'm not mad at you. I don't have that criticism. I don't have that hatred inside for you. I don't think you're lazy. I don't think you're out of shape. I don't think that's any of it. I watch the same thing every year, and sports are sports from that perspective. And if you're not healthy, I got to try to find another way to win a championship. So we'll see where they go from here. I hope he comes back.
Yeah.
That is the last thing I took away. It sounds like this is like the most important offseason for him personally.
Yeah.
And, like, you know how people have been, like, wondering, like, why haven't we heard from Embiid? Like, after he got the surgery, we were supposed to get, like, an update in 2 weeks. Well, I think like, I remember, like, where was he taking a picture of, like, one of the soccer matches or something that was at the link?
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, look, Joel Embiid. Well, I think you get an understanding, of why that is. He doesn't reveal himself.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk. He doesn't go out much. So that makes me feel better from a health perspective going into the season, at least. I don't know how you feel about that. But, like, knowing that he's not going to release this shit, we shouldn't speculate on, they're probably just hiding something again right now.
Yeah. No, it was interesting. The only thing that threw me off with his injury concerns, I guess, was just at the end, the writer brings up the point that Daryl Morey said, hopefully Embiid's ready for training camp, right? And Embiid says, there's no timetable, like, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And it's like he kind of wanted to open up that door of speculation. Yeah. Like, it might not be the start of the preseason or training camp. And I think that's fine to an extent. Like, it's not something that I'm trying to wrap my head around too much right now because we just got to wait and see what it's going to look like closer to the season.
Maybe, bro. Maybe he's just done letting the Sixers handle things, like with how poorly they've handled and hid and, you know, things with the fan base. He's like, this is coming from me. It doesn't matter what Daryl says. This is coming from me now.
Something that came to my mind, though, you know, as we're talking through this, and it's more of a devil's advocate point. It's not like how I really feel. It's just something that crossed my mind. He did sign the contract extension. You know what I mean? For all of the information that he put into that article and how bad it really does make the Sixers organization look to an extent, right? He's committed to this team beyond this year, right? Up until, I believe, is it 2030 or 2029? Like 3 more years or 3 more years on the contract.
3 or 4 more
last year. Yeah, 3 or 4. So we're locked in with him. I think, to your point, this being the biggest offseason of his career, is it the biggest offseason in terms of what if he comes back and gets injured again? Is that like the final straw for him? You know what I mean? Because I think that's part of the war and the quietness as well. Is like, man, this is just frustrating as hell.
I will say this. I would argue that 80 to 90% of the fan base has already reached that breaking point. If you are a faithful fanatic, if we're going to keep out hope for this year, I think we need to make a pact going into this year. Yeah. And whoever listens, you know, we're going to make this pact. This is it. This is it. And it's not a personal attack on him. It's not because he's not working hard. He just has bad luck with injuries, but this is it. I know 90% of the fan base is already out. I'm 50% 1 foot out the door already out as well. But this has to be the last season. If he gets injured again and the Sixers either miss the playoffs or a 7 seed or a 6 seed and or a first or second round exit and he can barely play hobbled in the playoffs, we cannot go into next summer because everyone's doing it already. Everyone, the East is so wide open. I hope Joel comes back to MVP level. This, if you are still bought into Joel Embiid, and I'll be right there with you this year, this has to be the last season. If he gets injured again, going on to age 31 or 32, this is it. I'm done after this.
Yeah. No.
That's not a personal attack. That's not a hatred towards him. But from an injury and player perspective, it is time to move the F on after this season if he gets re-injured in a serious way.
Yeah, I think that's very fair, man. And I'll even take it this far for myself. Like, I think to a point I am already like over it. Like, I don't get mad at the uncertainty of like, and we'll get into the Paul George injury as well. Like, I'm not like mad about it. Like, it just is what it is at this point. Like, I'm not going to get myself upset. Now, obviously, if we get told one thing leading up till training camp and then something else is happening, then that's going to be frustrating in itself.
He's ramping up.
Just the communication of the Sixers organization and how bad they are at that. That's not necessarily a player thing or a contention thing, but I'm like focused on the youth, you know, to an extent. Like, don't get me wrong, I do have that little sense of hope. Like you said, 50%, 40%, maybe it's 60%. I don't know. If Joel can be healthy, the team can compete for a championship for sure. They can compete for Eastern Conference Finals, especially with the way the Celtics are shaped right now. You got the Pacers the way they're shaped, but I'm not like solely focused on that. I'm not locked in with that, if that makes sense. There's two routes this next season could go for me. There is a third one, don't get me wrong, but there's two that I like to believe that will happen. It's going to be one, maybe Embiid doesn't start the season, but he does get healthy enough to play enough games in the regular season and then into the playoffs. Yeah, exactly. We make the playoffs and we contend for a championship. We contend in the East. There's a world.
I don't care if we're an 8 seed if that dude is healthy and this roster's healthy in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. And to the point, like, we'll get to Paul George, but Joel Embiid is the only one that like matters to me. Like, Paul George is just an addition, in my opinion. Like, I think that Joel Embiid, we'll see how these young guys can form around these guys, but Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, you add a Quentin Grimes, you add a Jared McCain, you add some of the other young tools that we've got.
Hopefully Quentin Grimes.
Hopefully Quentin Grimes is not solidified. We like to believe that it's going to happen. But I think with Embiid, you always have a chance. So Embiid is that key factor. Paul George, if he has to linger in, that will just be a great addition added in at some point with Paul George, in my opinion. But to compete at the highest level, you need Joel Embiid. And I think the other option is Embiid in and out of the lineup, Paul George in and out of the lineup, Maxey, McCain, VJ, hopefully Grimes, Justin Edwards, so on and so forth. Development, excitement for the future, fast-paced just like looking for the little things in life with basketball that we didn't even get last year because Jared McCain gets injured, Tyrese Maxey's out of the lineup. Yeah. So I'm looking for those little things, but the way the Sixers' luck works, it could be very well end up on that third path, which is Embiid out of the lineup, Paul George out of the lineup, Maxey in and out of the lineup, injured again, so on, so forth, like last season. So I'm just hoping for one of the first two options, mainly the first one, man, just so we don't have to live with the hypotheticals, the what ifs of this roster. Like,
me, you, and Abe will be the first three to sign the petition. This is the 2025 Phaithful Phanatics Pact. Whether you have 1% hope left, whether you have 90% hope left, wherever you are at, if you have a sliver of hope left of, if Joel Embiid's healthy, this is it. This is the final year. If he is hurt in a serious way this season, not a minimal injury, not if he, does something to sprains his thumb and he misses 5 games or whatever.
Does it matter if it's his fault or not?
No,
or is it's just injury. I'm with you. I'm just clarifying. This
has to be it. And I know already, like I said, probably 85% of the fan base is already at 0%. And I wish I was smart enough to be at 0%. But there is that fan in me that just hopes. But this has to be it of that logic. There is no more next year. There is no more tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. For 2026, 2027, if Joel Embiid gets hurt in a serious way again. But let me ask you this, bro. Another piece of this article.
Yeah.
Who do we think the rat is that's still on the team?
My mind immediately went to Kelly Oubre for some reason.
Really?
But I've been seeing a lot of people say Eric Gordon. I've been seeing his name fly around a lot of the time. I don't know what the story is behind Eric Gordon, though. I don't know why people think it's Eric Gordon. Why do you think that, Marsha? Because I've seen that name a lot as well. I'm wondering if I'm out of the loop there. My mind went to Kelly Oubre. Yeah. I don't know why it went to Oubre. I guess
my mind went to Kyle Lowry, and I don't know why.
Well, the phrasing of like, will he be here next season or not, right? And Kelly Oubre's been part of trade rumors, but Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon, they're all in the mix there. They were free agents. I don't know. Oubre, they had that little altercation. Was that the year before last, though? That might have been the year before last.
I think it was.
You remember the in-game altercation that he and Oubre had? They were like yelling at each other on the bench or something. I can't remember exactly what it was about, but it's just college. Interesting.
If it's not Kelly, look, whoever it is shouldn't be on the team. Whoever it is should not be in the locker room. This is still like it's Joel. It's like I know it's all like it's Tyrese Maxey's team. It's still Joel Embiid's team right now. I'd say at this point, like from a locker room perspective, what I'm saying. And if your star max player has an issue with someone that is irrelevant almost, see ya. Kelly Oubre is the only one I give a sliver of like opportunity to, right? Because he still can play a little bit. If it is to be Eric Gordon or Kyle Lowry, what are we doing?
I saw the Yabusele mention as well. He's another guy that he just doesn't come across to me as somebody that would speak of ill will. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't come across to me as somebody who would spread negativity, if that makes sense.
True. That's true.
But he is a free agent, went to the New York Knicks.
Martian with the comment here, man. We did discuss the article. You probably popped in a slight second afterwards. But the only question I have about this is, like, held accountable how? Because, like, the rat thing has to do with leaking what happened between him and Marcus Hayes, and Joel Embiid shouldn't be held accountable in that scenario.
So I thought the rat thing was with Maxey
the Maxey thing.
But that was him being held accountable. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
Maxey calling him out was the accountability factor.
Yeah.
That happening didn't need to be leaked out. You can say Embiid's late to the meeting. You just don't have to say Maxey chewed out Embiid, who was late to the meeting. That's where it leaves the accountability room.
Martian, you are right. You are right.
I don't disagree with Martian, though, in a sense. There is some fault. And that's what I meant. Like, I do get that perspective of the article because you're not to blame for showing up 90 minutes late to practice or whatever, right? And the 70-point game against the Spurs, it's like you have the balance of him scoring 70 points in that game. He can do that. He can just show up and score 70. He did just show up.
The thing, right, and that's part of what he said as well in the article was, I lead on the court, which is not to try to make too much of a joke of the article, but you're not on the court all that much. But my point is, like, he does lead when he's on the court. He's the most dominant player on the floor each and every night that he's out there. There's no disputing that. But it goes beyond that. And I think the perfect example would be a Jalen Hurts, would be a Saquon. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, guys that are ultra talented. Saquon Barkley could show up whenever he wanted to.
Yeah.
You think Saquon Barkley's showing up 90 minutes late to team meetings and stuff?
No.
It goes beyond that. If you're going to be the franchise player, if you are going to be the $200+ million man, the max contract guy, you have to do the extra stuff. And I know there's a lot of stuff going on up here. But like you said, Scotty, everyone deals with it. Everyone has to go to work. I know it doesn't matter how much money you have in your bank account when things like that are going on, but people have to push through without hundreds of millions of dollars in their bank account. People have to go to work the next day after their mom passed away or their sister passed away or getting cheated on and losing their house and their kids and whatever the hell is going on in their life, making minimum wage or making $25 an hour. It's just what happens. So you are going to be that guy. Like you said, you signed the contract.
Yeah.
I need you to start to live up to it.
And I think, as we start to digress through this article, because, Martian says I was glazing the article. First of all, I do want to shout out the writer. I don't know how to say his name. Dotun Akintoy.
The article was dope. Yeah.
The article was very well written. Whether you like Embiid's answers or the stories about Embiid that are in the article, that's up to decipher. But the article was very well written compared to stuff that I've read of late as far as sports media coverage. Not just Philadelphia, but across the board. There's not many sports writers that write to that extent, get that many sources to get involved with the material, and to simply tell a story. That's all I was glazing up. Yes, I do think Embiid has an incredible story. He's a kid that started playing basketball at 16, lost his little brother. We've already gone through it. Tragic events, blah, blah, blah. And I'll even say this, man. Like, yes, maybe Embiid has turned into what we call an asshole. Like, maybe he has. Like, maybe that's the case. But do the Sixers not have a major hand in basically raising this young man since he entered the NBA? He spent 1 year in college with Bill Self at Kansas, and then he gets to this dysfunctional organization that doesn't know how to produce professionals, let alone him, So I'm not, once again, this is not an excuse. It is what it is. We're where we are. Like, we can't change it. We can't go back and make sure it's a real doctor that oversees Embiid's first knee injury in the NBA, right? Not an intern. We can't go back and do that. We can't go back and make sure all the trainers and all the medical staff that ever worked for the Sixers always believed in Embiid. We can't go back and do that. But we can just move forward with a good understanding of the past. Yeah. And quite frankly, beyond Embiid, let's just hope that we treat our stars a lot fucking better than the way we treated them in the past, man. talking about Embiid and so on and so forth, whatever's happened, whether that's Harden leaving town, whether that's Ben Simmons getting disgruntled after he was a defensive player of the year candidate, whether he's having mental issues, whatever, man. Let's get our shit together, because it seems like a lot of the shit that happens, whether it's to Embiid or to one of his teammates throughout that time, it seems like it only happens when motherfuckers play on the Sixers. And that's the big issue for me. Embiid, sure, we can hold him accountable, post him to the wall, make him the example. That's fine. But the Sixers have some major dysfunction.
Correct.
This fucking function going on in this organization, man. And I know we knew that.
Yeah.
But this is just like more proof, like in our faces.
And I think
you guys don't know what they're doing.
People will take what you just said, right, about the Sixers and how they've handled things since he's come over here, right, since his year at the college and, whatever. And they'll be like, oh, see, you're deflecting blame. You're taking accountability away from Joel. But, like, you in this city, you have a world-class organization in the Philadelphia Eagles. Right below them, you have John Middleton and the Philadelphia Phillies, who are competing for the World Series. The thing they just did with Christopher Sanchez, getting snubbed from the All-Star game, taking care of their players, getting ahead of the curve, paying their guys early, things like that. The Flyers, dysfunction, but that's a different tier. That's something we're not going to get.
Yeah.
Why? Like, you are the ugly stepsister if you're the Sixers right now. You are the dysfunction in the family, and it just keeps happening. So blame is to go all around, bro. Blame's to go all around on another guy as of right now, and that is one of what could be one of the worst contracts given out as well if this thing takes another wrong turn with Paul George. Now, look, it got reported from Shams, and then John Clark's tweeted it out, that Paul George injured his knee in a on-court workout or off-court, whatever it was, like a week ago or something, and he had arthroscopic knee surgery done. Then kind of like an hour later, someone reported from Paul George that it was kind of just like to clean it up. Like, it didn't touch any ligaments, didn't touch any of that, and it was just kind of to clean up what was ever in there. It's not as long of a timeline, nearly long of a timeline, etc. Maybe he'll be good for training camp, or for training camp, and then to start the regular season.
Yeah.
If we have another injury-plagued season with Paul George, forget Joel Embiid, Paul George for a second.
Yeah.
Is it the worst contract the Sixers have ever given out? And mind you, the plan, mind you, the vision, which I was all about, we agreed with it, right? But the plan, moving on from Harden and not being aggressive last offseason was for why, Scotty? Not this past offseason, I'm saying the offseason before. Was for what? Because of the cap space we had last offseason and who would be available. And the plan was very clearly directed toward this 33, 34-year-old small forward coming off of a major year. And again, you can blame me if you want, because I was all in for it.
Me too.
But I'm not the one making business decisions and cashing paychecks because of it. If he does not play meaningful basketball for the 76ers over the next year or two, is it the worst contract ever given out?
For the Sixers, I think it would have to be. I mean, Tobias was up there, but he's getting paid more than Tobias.
Paul George would be way worse. At least.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I'm just saying, like, Paul George is even getting paid more. Mm-hmm. He's expected of more. He gave us, in the games that he actually played last year, he gave us less production than Tobias in the regular season.
He had moments. Like, I think people, like, my sister says this too, because she hates Paul George as of right now. He dropped 30. He dropped 28 like twice. He dropped 26 or 20. Like, he had like close to 10 games where he scored 25 to 30 points. So there were moments.
There were a couple games where
it's not like the dude's handicapped and can't play basketball anymore.
Right. It's just when you have him on the same team as Joel Embiid, it gets really, really frustrating. But I think it's got to be worse than Tobias at this point. He would have to play what? I guess at the end of the day, this is the one thing he has going for him. He can save that statement with just like one playoff trip, right? Like, he could not play this entire regular season, come back in the playoffs, and you give us something that helps us get out of the second round, and it's a success. Like, that's how easy it is Easy. That's how easy. That's how easy it is to get back in good graces.
That's how simple it is, laid out as a plan. I
Simple.
will say this,
That's
though.
a better word, yeah.
I will say this to Martian, though. I agree with the first name. I disagree with the second name only because you cannot convince me Al Horford was not just like a spy and did shit on purpose.
Fair.
In the lone year that he played of the 3-year, $100 million.
Looking like a shell of himself.
Paul George is at least 33, 34 years old, dealing with injuries, right, and can't be on a basketball floor. Al Horford signed like for $107 million, came over here, reverted to a basketball player I've never seen him be before, get shipped back out, get back with Boston, and go back to being the guy that haunts us all the time.
And win the championship.
Like, that shit was done on purpose.
Yeah, an op, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I feel that. But I don't know, like with Paul George, it was like, he's got this podcast, right? So is he just trying to expand to the East Coast type shit?
I was gonna ask you that too. I was gonna ask you that as well. Like, hasn't he been? And I don't know when they record these things, but hasn't he been dropping pods over like the last 3-4 weeks?
I don't know if he's dropped one since the injury was reported.
I was gonna say, bro, because where like you're sitting in the chair, like not gonna mention that you fucked up your knee to anybody?
I haven't seen. I don't watch them as much because last season I just had to stop watching them because I can't watch this man talk about hoops and not be on the basketball court for my squad. Like I can't watch him be injured talking about hoops. I just can't do that.
Let me ask you a question, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen any drops.
Let me ask you this question because we have had a lot of discussions about like active player podcasts and how we either like them or don't, right?
Yeah.
And I love when people get so upset. Like I remember like when certain players used to love video games and they'll stream on Twitch and people are like, "What are you doing? Get in the gym." It's like, bro, it's 9:00 at night. He was just in the gym for 4 hours. Like they're allowed to have hobbies, right? But let me ask you this, right? And it might only take up 2 hours of the entire week for him. But at the end of the year, before like we went into tank mode, Paul George put his podcast on a hiatus to focus on ball, right?
Yeah.
Now, the summertime, right now, I don't care. I do not care. You do what you want with your time, right?
Yeah.
But come October, should Paul George's podcast be on a hiatus again? Because that wasn't a hiatus, bro. You took like 2 weeks off and then we tanked and then you went back to your podcast. Like you made this big statement that you have not lived up to the contract. The team is not playing well. It's partly your fault. I got to take a break away from this and focus on ball. That happened for like 2 weeks before everything got shut down. Yeah. So come the season, I want to see that for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, it will not be received well if he does that to start the season and we don't get to see him perform before we see him on a pod, right? Like that's the big thing. So yeah, I do agree. I think just taking a break, and I think the big thing is like you sit down on a pod and you overanalyze each and every like interaction that you and your teammates are having and how practice went this week and like how you got prepped for this game. It's like at a certain point, you just got to keep that stuff in the house, figure it out with your teammates and go from there. You can then revisit the season as a retrospective type of thing after the season concludes. You can talk about the things that happened, the trials and tribulations, but it's kind of like the rat in the clubhouse, man. It's like, I don't need you just going on a pod and gossiping about what's going on in the locker room or, the fact that he had to say, I'm going on a hiatus because we got to get our shit together. Like, your shit's not together. Yeah, like we knew that by the product on the court, but like you can have your shit together and just still suck. They didn't have their shit together and they sucked. So that's the big thing for me, man. I need to know that his mind's in the right place. And I just don't think like if you're having trouble gelling as a team, whatever it is, the chemistry, winning. You need to win games. You need to do what it takes to win and put everything else on pause until then. If you can't do that, then retire, man. Like if you can't take time away from that podcast, right? That side gig, that podcast might be making him millions, maybe, but it's not making him the contract that he has from the Sixers. Correct. And that's the priority. That's what he needs to focus on. So yeah, you got all summer, get all the potting out of your system, my man, and get back to hooping come regular season. Obviously, before that, we want him to be ready, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
This isn't like the angry dad that is
No.
angry at Beast, like, get in the gym. Why is he playing video games on a Wednesday night? They suck. Like it has
It's a
nothing to
dad
do with
that's
that.
been lenient.
Dad's
been lenient.
I'm gonna be
Shit ain't been
honest,
going well.
right. And I'm going to be honest with you. If he never came out and went on that mini hiatus last year because they didn't have their shit together, I wouldn't even be saying what I'm saying now. Oh, he's doing the podcast. It's what he does.
Fair.
You made it a point that in-house, you guys weren't good enough, so let me focus on this.
Yeah.
That happened for all of 2 or 3 weeks. Then we tanked. Now you're doing it in the summer. Don't care. But when it's time to get back to business, let's see.
Yeah.
Because you better get back to focusing on what matters most. And you know where you signed, bro. Like, that's the other thing. You signed here in one of the most difficult markets to play in.
You know it's expected.
Coming off of one of the worst years we've ever witnessed as 76ers fans.
You want to know?
Show up unprepared.
You want to know some damning things about him that I learned like while I was looking up just the injury and getting ready for like my NBA pod.
Yeah.
This is the 5th time in the past 6 seasons that Paul George has played fewer than 60 games. So 5 out of the last 6 seasons for this guy, he has not played over 60.
Yeah, but I don't even care.
That's not a huge deal, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care
if Paul 56.
Yeah, like I don't care if Paul only plays 55 to 60 games and Joel only plays 60 games or whatever it is. It's again, when you think about the construction of this team and if Paul George can still play at a pretty high, like that's my thing. I think Paul George can still play at a high level when he's on a basketball floor. I think Joel Embiid can get back to close to MVP level if he's on a basketball floor. And with the way the East is laying out next year, I think that's where everyone gets so excited about their Joel Embiid what ifs is the injuries, right? And I get it. It sucks. And, we want to beat the best. Fuck that, dude. I just want to get to a championship. You know what I mean? Like, sorry. So you look at Boston, you look at what Indiana's going to be like. You look at teams that were relevant recently but aren't anymore, like Atlanta, like Chicago, or not Chicago, excuse me, like Miami, those teams. You're really looking at like the Cavs and the Knicks, if they stay healthy, that are like the 2 top ones right now. I don't care if we're the goddamn 8 seed. I will take a healthy Joel Embiid, a healthy Paul George with Tyrese Maxey and this crew against the Cleveland Cavaliers in 8.
Yeah.
I will. I'll take him against the Knicks again. But you got to be healthy. So.
Yeah. No, I tend to agree.
Sign the petition.
I just, with Paul George, I think I'm like moving past him as far as like relying on him in a sense. I don't know. Maybe that means I am kind of like down on him. Like, I don't know. I just think of Paul George, like when he comes back, just give us like 17, 18 points. Like that's all I'm really asking for. And I don't know. Once again, I just look at the youth we've added. Like if Paul George has to miss some time at the beginning of the season, just open up more playing time for guys like VJ, Justin Edwards, and then of course if Grimes can hopefully get signed back here. No noise on that, by the way. I've heard nothing.
No, which plays into the Sixers' advantage. Like there's just no market right now.
I think the only team that even made room with money is like the Wizards or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, I don't know. I'm still excited for the season. Is the best way I would put it, man. Like obviously we got the Eagles starting before then. We got the Phillies rest of this season. Like we don't have to get too deep into all of that, but I still have excitement for the season regardless of the uncertainty around Embiid and PG. Main thing being Embiid though. If not at the beginning of the season, take your time. I do agree with his standpoint. Like don't rush it. It's not worth it to rush it at the beginning of the season. Shouldn't have played in the Olympics last year either, though, right? But that's a whole other story.
You're like a mind reader, bro. To wrap up the show here, we'll get a little bit more talk about this that we left on yesterday, and that is the Eagle season. Yeah, and that is Mr. Jalen, bro. And I swear to God, so we posted the TikTok. If you don't follow us on TikTok, check out the link tree. Check us out on TikTok. It's pinned, and it's basically what is it, Scott? I got about 10 throws from last year. Regular season and postseason included, all the way from week 1 to the Super Bowl. And it's Jalen doing a lot of things. It's on the run. It's from the pocket. It's a clean pocket. It's under pressure. It's a deep ball. It's an out route. There's a lot of different throws in there, 10 different throws. It's a minute and a half video for you to go watch. And I still have people in the comments, and I know social media is a very stupid place to begin with, but I still have people like you and I are going to watch the same clip, and you're going to come away with the comment you came away with. For instance, someone commented and said, "Wow, he can throw the ball far. I'm impressed." What? First of all, there's about 5 clips in there of him throwing the ball 20 yards or under. And the deep balls, the point of the deep ball is the accuracy and the tight coverage in which the deep ball is thrown into. Not just, he dropped back like, what's the dude that played for Tennessee? Joe Milton, that quarterback, where he sling the ball 85 yards down the field. It's not like a receiver was just running free and he launched one. He's got a rocket attached to his shoulder. It's the accuracy in which he throws the deep ball. You dumbasses. It's such a stupid place, bro. It's such social media.
Social media.
So dumb.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's like trolling, if it's just little kids.
No, I don't think it is, bro. I think because the comments weren't like, they didn't try to come off as like funny or like offensive. They were legit. Like one of them was like, he has good games, and then they try to make this point, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah. I commented back to a few of them, but yeah, it's ridiculous, man. It's the whole conversation we had yesterday about the top 10s list. It's the only reason we have to go out here and dig up those clips of him throwing the football because people act like he doesn't. And I think the next thing we're going to have to clip up is him making extended run plays because people just act like all he does is the tush push, like he doesn't use his legs. In a 37-yard scramble that he had against the LA Rams in the snow, something like that, to the house. They act like these plays don't exist. They act like the plays in the playoffs don't exist. It makes you feel insane.
This is the stat I would just throw back in. It's one of the comments I threw back on TikTok as well, right? Because someone had agreed with the fact that they agree with the first part, but then they were like, but I don't agree with the fact that he doesn't need a run-dominant game. I don't know how he would do in a pass-heavy offense. Jalen Hurts is 21-9 when he throws the ball 30-plus times in a game in his career. That's a 70% winning percentage. The only quarterback better than that is Patrick Mahomes. He has a better winning percentage when throwing the ball 30-plus times than Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen. But I want to see Jalen Hurts throw the ball. And then another comment, Scotty, was he threw 18 touchdowns. He threw 18 touchdowns and hoisted the Lombardi Trophy and the Super Bowl MVP trophy. But I guess you would prefer 30 touchdowns thrown by a Dak Prescott or Justin Herbert. Is that what, like, it's just this
It's incredible
that I keep going down. But again, like we said all off season, you can't tell me nothing because I'm on top of the world still.
Exactly. I can't wait to see the defensive lineman rankings. I want to see the defensive tackle. I do want to see the edge rushers. I don't know if that's came out yet.
Let me ask you, do you think that's one category or do you think D-line will be one as a whole?
That's interesting. I don't know. They did
I would ask you that.
They did CBs and not secondary.
Okay.
So they should.
Because that's what I was gonna say to you. If you do defensive tackles, Jalen Carter, if he's not number 1, he's number 2. Like he's 1 or 2. If you do D-line, you get a little bit more interesting.
The edge rushers will be favored.
Yes, you are talking a TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, different shit like that.
Max Crosby. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see.
I did have a question for you, man. Regarding that, just thinking around defensive and top ranking defensive players. I'm interested to see the linebackers as well. Obviously, Bond's going to have to be on that list somewhere.
Yeah.
Nolan Smith been working out with Max Crosby. Any chance he can become a top 10 edge rusher? Like what are the odds that he could break out and get there by next off season? And I'm not saying that makes or breaks his career as a failure or success, but you just start to think about what you have in him and what he has been able to do. Last year was a little bit of was that more of a, did he beat expectations last year in your opinion?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like I was kind of underselling him going into the season.
And what
I'm wondering what is his ceiling?
Ceiling, I don't know. Like that is a great question. When you're talking about pure edge rushers, like I don't have Nolan Smith like cracking into like the top 5 edge rushers in the National Football League, right?
The pure talent, yeah. I agree.
Especially the way Fangio rotates and playing time and different stuff like that. But I will say, what he did in the postseason, the playoff riser in the biggest moments that he became,
like Brandon Graham,
awesome to watch. What did he have? Four sacks in the postseason last year?
He's like Brandon Graham, where he's never going to get like that recognition as a top 10 edge rusher.
Yeah.
But he's going to make those big plays. I could see that.
I believe he had four sacks in the postseason last year for the Eagles, which was a franchise record for anyone with sacks in a single playoff. So that was awesome to watch, bro, especially because, like, as great as the defense was and as dominant as the D-line was against Kansas City in the Super Bowl, right? Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Jalix Hunt, right, who's going to be back again for another big year, hopefully. As dominant as they were in that game, the D-line was not like what it was 2 years ago. The D-line was not this monstrous dominant spot on this defense. It was the secondary. It was Bond. You had Carter plugged in the middle. Yeah. Everyone kind of did their job at a high level. So to see him accomplish that with not like all that help, you get what I'm trying to say? Like it's not like Nolan Smith took advantage of opportunities because Fletcher Cox, Jalen Carter, and Hassan Reddick were all on the line with him, and no one's paying attention to him. Nolan Smith did that, arguably being the second best player on the defensive line next to Jalen Carter.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It's one of those things we would have to like really dive deep into, like how often does he line up next to Jalen Carter, and how much does that impact his snaps?
That's true.
Because that man Jalen Carter is going to garner at least two blockers per play, man. But no, I think you make a great point though. Amongst the variety or the versatility that the Eagles had on the defensive line last year, where it wasn't completely dominant to an extent, he did shine at least second most after Jalen Carter in the postseason. So it'll be interesting to see where they go. They did bring in some other guys as well. So like you said, Vic Fangio likes to rotate them. You got the Josh Uches of the world, the guy they brought over from New York. I can't remember his name right now, but no, what is that guy's name? Aziz Adulari. Yeah, my bad. I knew it was a tough one. I just couldn't remember it off the top of my head there. But yeah, you'll have those type of guys mixed in there as well. And I did see Jahad Campbell, man. I'm seeing him like doing some workouts. There's some indications that he might be ready to go by training camp. So just another.
Had to wake the pup up. He was fucking convulsing and shaking with his eyes on the back of his head. I'm like, is this dude seizing or is he having a nightmare? The answer, a nightmare. He's awake now.
Yeah, he's good. That's good though. But no, man, it's an exciting year. I'm excited to see where the defensive players finish. You had Quinyon coming at number 9
top 10
in the top 10 corners, which that's a W for rookie season for sure. Can't complain about that. I'm actually surprised they gave him the props. I'm actually surprised.
I agree. I know we'll have all off season to talk about. Well, not all off season, all summer to continue talking about it. Training camp's a few days away. Yeah. So we'll see kind of how they start that and all. But obviously, the CJ Gardner-Johnson went on the podcast with the pivot, right? And talked about a lot of things and kind of apologized for some things. So that was cool. But obviously, his departure opens up a big hole next to Reed Blankenship.
Yeah.
Honest, Reed, as much as I love Reed Blankenship, right, is one of already the weakest links of the defense just because of how talented the rest of the defense is.
Yeah.
Safety. How big of a difference do you think that's going to look like this year in Fangio's unit compared to last? Like, is Reed going to be the number 1, or is the kid from Texas going to come in day 1 and just be a stud? Is he undersized and can't play? Like, what is the deal with that position? Don't forget, Howie always makes a move in August.
Yeah. And I mean,
is that move a safety?
Simmons is out there. I've seen him linked to a few different teams, but he obviously wanted to play with Vic Fangio. No, I saw that that kid Drew from Texas. He apparently hasn't even been signed yet. Yeah, Makuba. He apparently hasn't even signed his rookie deal just yet,
Yeah.
so we got to
Okay.
wait for
I
that.
saw not to
But
worry. Yeah, I saw not to worry about that.
I don't know. Some people are high on Sidney Brown. I'm bullish on him. I'm not 100% sure about that. He seems like a loose cannon on the field, quite honestly, which can be a good thing in certain situations, but can be a little unreliable, in my opinion, when it comes to pass coverage. If he's that reactionary.
Sidney Brown seems like the type of player that needs the freedom on the field.
Yeah.
He's still so young and raw. He doesn't have it up here to deserve that freedom on
Exactly.
kind of
exactly.
wander and lay those
I don't
hits
trust
and do
him.
stuff. Yeah.
But to be fair, I mean, do I trust any of the guys that is going to step in there for CGJ?
Right.
And CGJ, he was good. He was good to great last year at certain points. He had a rough patch to start the season. So what I would say is just be patient at the beginning of the season, especially if we're having these young options or the guys that got to figure it out. If Drew Makuba starts slow this year, I wouldn't be surprised if he's thrown out there and getting heavy snaps. He's going to have to find his feet, but we've seen plenty of safeties be able to step in first year around the league, not necessarily for the Eagles, but around the league, and make good contributions. So I think there is room for Reed Blankenship to step up, lead more from the secondary. I think he will be the vet in that safety room. I think he's going to have to take what he learned from the guys of the past and give that to some of these young guys. But no, I wouldn't be surprised if we brought in why do I always get his name confused? Simmons?
Justin Simmons.
Justin Edwards, Justin Simmons. I get them confused each and every time. Ben Simmons, throw him in it, but Justin Simmons, I would not be surprised if that is like a veteran option that's brought in, just to give us another option, of course.
I agree. But no, I think Howie did a good job this offseason. Like you said, the Josh Uche and the Azeez Ojulari additions, if one of them pans out, that's a humongous win. Jalen Hunt taking the next step. The kid from, is it Nebraska? Just the defensive tackle that we drafted in like the third or fourth round, just big, bullish kid. If just a few of those kids pan out, then don't forget. I completely skipped over the first round pick, Mr. Jahad Campbell. So
no, when you were talking about the dog, I was talking about him earlier because he apparently has been working out, and they're thinking he could be back for training camp or for the preseason, right? And that's going to be huge for his development early on, at least, right? If we could step into the season, maybe he doesn't even have to have like the Cooper DeJean hiccups. I say hiccups. Cooper DeJean just really wasn't playing the first couple weeks on defense. But hopefully he can just find his feet and hit the ground running at the start of the season. That would be awesome if we could have a first round pick do that for us. But I guess similar to Quinion, right? Rich get richer. That's what it's all about, brother.
All right, man. Let's go enjoy
Friday, man.
You leave for Mexico tomorrow?
Sunday morning, but basically tomorrow. I'll be offline.
Enjoy it, brother.
Appreciate
we will be back when Scotty returns to the States. Training camp will be underway, so we'll have a lot to talk about, bro.
NFL,
guys, for myself,
got the
for Scotty
tonight.
Yes, sir.
Go
Turf
Fightins.
Talk making a comeback soon as well.
Yes,
Eagles
sir.
pregame live will be coming back when the Phillies get closer to the postseason. Phillies pregame live will be coming back, so we'll have a lot more content. Be more active on TikTok. Make sure to follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Twitter at DSM_media, and most importantly, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's the best and only way to truly support us. So tap in, subscribe, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace out, everybody.
Peace, everybody. Go Fightins.